The Purple Plague, a presentation by Kevin Quintana, Noah Cassell, Braden Duck, and Alexander White. Imagine swimming through an underwater forest where sunlight filters down through golden leaves. Fish fly between the fronds, and sea otters glide through the kelp. These are kelp forests, as you can see in the background. Massive ecosystems that cover roughly a quarter of the Earth's coastlines in cold, nutrient-rich water. They're incredibly important. Kelp forests provide habitat for more than 700 marine species, from sea snails to seals. They're sometimes called the lungs of the ocean because they release oxygen and support so much life beneath the surface. What's even more impressive, though, is how powerful and resilient they are at fighting climate change. Just one kelp forest can absorb about 20 times more carbon dioxide per acre than a forest on land of the same size. So, these underwater forests aren't just beautiful, they're essential to the planet's balance of oxygen, carbon, and life itself. The urchin problem. But in recent years, the balance has started to collapse. In parts of Northern California, purple urchin populations have exploded, increasing more than 60-fold since 2014. In fact, scientists have found that when urchins grazing exceeds kelp growth, kelp biomass can drop by as much as 50 times, leaving almost nothing behind. And once all the kelp disappears, the urchins don't just die off, or move away. They can survive for years without food, clinging to the seafloor and preventing any new kelp from growing back. This result is what scientists call urchin barrens. Now, understanding how this happened is the first step towards fixing it. In the next couple slides, we're going to see what caused the urchin population to spiral out of control and what's being done to restore balance.
When balance breaks. Kelp forests have survived for centuries because every species played its part in keeping the ecosystem balanced. Two of the most important predators in that balance were sea otters and sunflower sea stars. Both feed on sea urchins and prevent them from overrunning the kelp. But between 2013 and 2015, a mysterious illness known as sea star wasting disease spread along the Pacific coast. It wiped out around 90% of the sunflower sea star population. Without these predators, and with sea otters declining in some regions, there was nothing left to control the sea urchin population. As a result, the urchins multiplied uncontrollably and began destroying kelp faster than it could grow back. Pressure. The loss of predators was not the only problem. Around the same time, the ocean itself started to change. From 2014 to 2016, a massive marine heat wave called the Blob formed in the Northeast Pacific. Water temperatures rose by up to 5 degrees Celsius, and that warm water carried way fewer nutrients that kelp needs to grow. Weakened kelp couldn't recover from urchin grazing, and the heat wave slowed new growth even more. Meanwhile, overfishing removed fish that normally eat young urchins, and pollution and runoff added stress to coastal waters. Altogether, these pressures caused a total collapse in some areas, with over 90% of Northern California's bull kelp canopy lost after 2014. The combination of warming, overfishing, and disease turned one of the ocean's richest ecosystems into empty seafloor. But not all hope is lost. Scientists, divers, and coastal communities are now working to restore what's left, and that's where we turn next.
If you want to compare how it was to how it is, this was solid kelp from here all the way in, all the way down. And now you have just little pockets here and there.
That lack of kelp impacts the value of red sea urchins. It also strains the ocean's ecosystem and the species that rely on kelp forests for habitat. Along with warming waters and pollution in recent decades, a certain sea urchin is to blame. Sea urchins can survive for years without eating, even without gonads. And after the decline of sea stars, one of its predators, in 2013, the purple sea urchin population exploded, consuming more than 95% of California's kelp forests as it grew.
How can we fix it? Now that we know what caused this collapse, the next question is, how can we fix it? Scientists in coastal communities have come up with several possible solutions. The first solution is urchin removal, where divers manually clear overgrown areas of purple urchins to give kelp room to regrow. The second solution is predator recovery, reintroducing sea otters and restoring sunflower sea stars to bring back natural balance. The third is creating marine protected areas, or MPAs, which shield regrow kelp forests from fishing and other human stressors. And finally, economic incentives, where excess urchins are harvested for seafood markets. This turns a destructive species into an opportunity for local income and long-term management. Let's go to the next slide. Each of these approaches works in different ways, and our data table here compares them by effectiveness, cost, speed, and feasibility. Best path forward. Our group concluded that no single method is enough on its own. The best path is a combined approach. Start with target urchin removal to jumpstart kelp recovery, follow up with MPAs to protect regrown zones, reintroduce predators once kelp canopy returns, and keep communities involved through sustainable urchin harvesting and eco-based programs. Together, these steps balance the ecosystem faster and more effectively than any single one fix. As you can see, urchin removal scores the highest for effectiveness and speed. It clears space fast, but it's also the most expensive and limited to small areas. Predator recovery is powerful long-term, but takes years of ecosystem rebuilding and careful monitoring. MPAs cost less and are easy to maintain, though results appear slowly. And incentive programs are the easiest to launch, as they give local divers and fisheries for a reason to help manage urchin populations while supporting coastal economies. If we work with both nature and local communities, the ocean has a chance to rebuild itself, and that's exactly what we'll explain next.
Even after so much damage, there's still hope beneath the waves. Bold kelp forests can recover, but only if balance is restored. When urchins are cleared, predators like sea otters and sea stars return, and the kelp begins to grow again. It shows that predator protection and human cooperation really do make a difference. In fact, recovery is already happening in part of Northern California, where removal programs and marine protected areas are in place. The ocean is showing us that with time, care, and science, it can heal itself. Together, we can bring back life to the coast, one kelp forest at a time.